Hello, I'm Chris Gutierrez, and welcome to this edition of 5 Talk Street. Drugs and illegal substances can wreck a person's life, and it's especially devastating when it takes a deadly turn. It happened to Bill and Vicki Adkins, a North Texas couple who founded the Brett Adkins Charitable Foundation in memory of their son. Our Deborah Ferguson recently talked with Vicki about her son's memory, the local nonprofit bearing his name, and its commitment to teaching young men and women about the risks of using and being associated with illegal substances.
And I am here now with Vicki Adkins, philanthropist, wife, mom, and today she's here because she is a woman on a mission. Vicki, it's glad to be with you today.
It's an honor to be here.
So tell us the mission that you're on today.
Well, we lost our son 2 years ago. He was selling drugs to some boys in Irving, and thinking that, you know, this is probably no big deal. Who knows? For hardly any money, he just had. They had an altercation. The words, they didn't like what he was selling. All this back and forth, back and forth. Anyway, 2 boys came, and the words just, you know, I don't know. They just kept arguing back and forth if they didn't approve of the pot that he was selling and whatnot, which led into a fight. Brett, being a big boy, he's got this. He can beat both of them up, and you know, things change when there's a gun involved. And why they brought the gun, I have no idea. It still to this day doesn't make sense. But anyway, yeah, they shot Brett, and you know, they did everything they could. And he died about 3 hours after the fact. But I think today's kids, I think they think they're invisible, they're entitled, and they don't think anything could ever happen to them. One of my son's favorite lines was, "I got this, I got this." I'm like, you don't got this. There's no reason, right? There's the law. You're not above the law, and we have to respect that. And this is a boy that was raised in a home that went to church. He knew the difference between right and wrong. I would always say, you know, there's rewards and there's consequences, but it's up to you to make the right choice. As a parent, all we can do is, well, pray, train them up in the way that they should go, and then when they're older, you know, make their own choices.
Yeah, keep praying somewhat
yes,
too.
And keep praying,
yeah.
and keep praying, yes.
I want to talk a little bit more, if you don't mind, Vicki, about Brett.
Okay.
Brett was 17. We're looking at family pictures now. Brett was 17. And that day that this tragedy came into your life was Christmas Eve, 2017. And a lot of us may remember it because it did make news. It did make news that day, Vicki. This was a 17-year-old who was found in a parking lot in Irving who had been shot.
Yes.
2 suspects were arrested. But again, as the story unfolded, we learned more about your son and what your family had been going through.
Yes.
He was out there that day, and you just told us, selling drugs.
Yes.
How did it happen that your son, who you raised to be a good citizen, how did it happen, Vicki, that he went down this path? Do you have any idea?
Other than thinking that he was invisible and entitled, I don't know, because it makes no sense to me. This boy had a 6-figure trust fund. He had everything going for him. He was magnetic. He was bigger than life. And the people that knew Brett thought he was the funniest kid ever. The potential, he was unlimited in so many things. And yet, to make that decision that day, for what? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think when you probably look across the span, you see somebody like him, you're thinking, that's the kid that's going to make it.
Yes.
And that was the kid who on that day made a bad choice. Those 2 young men with him made bad choices as well.
Yes.
It's been almost 2 years since then. How are you, your husband? Brett has a sister.
I am doing okay. I'm a lot better than I was. But if it wasn't for my faith, I would not be able to get through this. So I rely on God, and I'm covered in prayer. My husband, devastated. No family should have to go through this. It's unbearable sometimes. And we have a daughter, and Bailey, she would do anything to see her brother. She misses him daily. She could just see him and say, I love you one more time. Nobody thinks this tragedy is going to happen to their family. Nobody. It is your worst nightmare.
And now you all are trying to step in with the Brett Adkins Charitable Foundation to try to help people get through this. What is the work of the foundation?
It is to educate communities and our schools to put programs in place to make a difference, especially here in North Texas. The money that is going to help fund this it's implemented from Brett's trust, which Bailey inherited, and she decided to give that back into the foundation so we can put these programs in place. So, you know, if we can just save one life, it is worth it all.
Yeah,
so we're looking forward to making a difference, because just because we're not having these conversations around our dinner tables at night doesn't mean that it's not going on. They're just not talking about it, and we can no longer turn a blind eye to the problems that we're facing. Right,
and you're asking the community to join you in this effort with the first ever Brett Adkins Charitable Foundation Gala. It happens September 21st. What's the plan for that day?
Well, it's just to bring awareness and talk about things that are going on. And I am passionate about teenagers. I open my home on Wednesday nights to youth, ages 14, 15 to 20, and loving on them, encouraging them, meeting them where they're at. And so, you know, giving back to the community, which they needed to develop community, right?
Yeah, right?
And I just want these parents to understand that it doesn't just look like, oh, that's going to happen to them. It can happen to anybody.
Any family.
Just one wrong decision can cost you your life.
Vicki, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. It takes a lot of courage to talk about a bad choice that took your son's life. And September 21st is the first ever gala. We want to let people know more about this. If you would like to become a sponsor and help in this effort, or you want to go attend the event to inspire and to make our community stronger, go to the BrettAtkinsCharitableFoundation.com to get the information. Vicki, again, thank you. And we'll be right back with more of 5 Talk Street.